So what I thought I'd do today with my time, because you guys know what I do, I help people buy and sell residential real estate, 1 to 4 units. I help them buy investment property. I manage property for people, my clients, help them buy second homes. And I'm networked across the nation and in Canada, both through Remax as well as a coaching program that I'm with called Buffini and Company. And so I have other agents that work their business like I do, by referral, on purpose. They care more about the relationship more than the transaction. So those are the people that I refer my clients to. And I have to be honest, we've had a fair number of people moving out of California. People are moving here too for various reasons, taxes. So everybody's moving around a little bit right now. And so what I wanted to share with you is just a quick market snapshot for the market now. And then I want to go into kind of some of the reasons that even in a really hot market like we're in right now, why you want to make sure that you're hiring an expert and somebody that has experience in this marketplace, because it's not as simple as just sticking a sign in the yard hoping for the best. So what's happening in the market right now in 2021, we're off to a really quick start. Things were happening right from the first week here in January. And that's because we have really amongst the strongest buyer demand that we've seen in the last 4 years. So you'll see on the graph that's there where the yellow line is, there's a red dot, and that represents the current demand, which is the escrows over the last couple of weeks. And you'll see that over the last 4 years, even the last year, which is in green, that was 2020, we're starting the year well above those number of new escrows going in. So we're off to a bang there, and that's it because of the low record interest rates. And if John were here, he'd be like telling you, wow, you really need to check out what's happening in the interest rates. So if you're thinking of refinancing, thinking of purchasing, it's that low interest rate that is fueling and creating this opportunity. When you run the numbers out for what people are paying in rent today versus what they could own a similar property for, it's better to own that property right now because of that. The second thing is we see a supply shortage of available homes. So once again, we're starting off the year actually the lowest we've seen since 2013. This particular one gives the last 4 years. You'll notice that 2019, which is only 2 years prior, we started off the year with about 6,000 homes in the Orange County area. Last year was 4,000, a little bit below 4,000. And now we're starting the year with a lower inventory than that by a decent amount. And so things are flying off the shelf, and that's creating this issue as well. So consequently, homes are selling really quickly and at all price levels. So you'll notice on the first piece there, it says 2021, the expected market time on average is 42 days, which is down half almost from last year. And if you can see 2019, 2018, you have to go all the way back to 2013 to even come close to that expected market time. And you'll also notice that that was also the same time that low interest rates prevailed at 3.34 in 2013. But now we're in the middle twos, and every day it's traded. So this is not a quote. So don't call me up and say, hey, you promised me 2.65. But that's what it is. It's in the middle twos right now, and it's crazy how much that can make an effect on that. So what's my recommendation? If you're even considering selling for whatever reason that is, this is the time to take advantage of what's a really hot seller's market. And so it's a great time to sell, even if you're contingent upon finding a replacement. Because of the low inventory, buyers are willing to like, hey, whatever you need, you let me know. You pick me, and I'll make sure I give you the most favorable terms. Even if the seller has a property that's not in top condition, buyers are really, at this time, because of the type of market we're in, they're willing to look at properties that are not in top condition. So if someone does not have a budget to do anything to their home, I'm not discouraging them from putting the home on the market, because buyers are willing to pay up top dollar for that. And so you can find your return a little better than even if you put money into it. It's also a great time to take equity, and if you are considering moving out of state or you know somebody that is, right now people are taking their equity from California and they're doing very, very well by purchasing their own home in another state and even an additional property for an investment at the same time, paying cash for both properties if they wanted to. Or you can use today's low rates and can keep some of that pocket money going forward. The other thing a lot of people are doing right now is they're using this opportunity to get closer to the grandkids, or as you know, there's a dynamic happening with companies, employees moving from downtown centralized type areas to the little bit of the outskirts. So they're downsizing or they're even upsizing if they're going to an area. For example, Los Angeles is seeing people go out to like Temecula or Riverside or San Bernardino counties to take advantage of a better pricing. Eastvale's building a lot of new properties. Ontario, you also see Chino building brand new properties, and you can get housing for about $600,000 for a detached single family house that's newly built, which is an incredible opportunity for them to get both the rates as well as that, and moving out of LA and being able to telecommute, and maybe they have to drive in one time during the week. So that's a dynamic that we're seeing. We also see it's a great time to sell because buyers are super motivated. So the best time for a seller to sell is when the buyers are actually motivated, not only by the low rate, but because of the low inventory, the seller is able to get the best and most favorable terms. And that could be, hey, we don't have to do a termite repair. Or when the time for negotiating of the repairs of the house during their inspection, they're willing to overlook some of the shortcomings of the house if it means that they get the house. So that's what we're seeing in the market today. So if you're considering selling a home, make sure you hire an experienced agent, not based on price. Meaning you don't just, because the market's hot, a lot of people have that mentality of like, you know what, I can either do this myself because it's going to sell quickly, or they hire a discount firm. And we've talked about that in the past of what that looks like. But inexperience can really, really cost you. So I listed out a few reasons. I don't want to bore you to death, but these are just some of the things out of the many reasons that it might not be best for you to work with an inexperienced agent. Because number one, they may misprice that home and you'll never know that until the market's done. If you underprice it, and yeah, you get it sold and it might even sell for higher than you're asking for, but it might have been mispriced to such a degree that someone gets it for thousands less than if it was properly priced. Also, an inexperienced agent tends to think about themselves, and they're like, hey, this is a great offer, you should take it. And so a lot of times an inexperienced agent will encourage them to take the first offer without really incorporating a multiple offer type strategy to be able to yield the client the highest and best. They will have them go ahead and take the first offer. They also might push for price reductions without a cause to get the sale. Now, price reductions are a necessary tool. However, it's got to be used properly and at the right times to be able to get maximum value. Sometimes homes aren't received in the marketplace for various reasons. It could be location. It could be something that's really a functional problem with the property that makes it more difficult to sell. So instead of a price reduction, you could consider other alternatives, and an inexperienced agent may not have that experience to be able to bring that to the table, like doing some simple cosmetic fix, like, hey, we have dark doors, we have dark baseboards, why don't we get that painted by John Thomas Painting and be able to spruce up the property a little bit, and instead of doing a big price reduction, either using staging or some kind of a cosmetic fix that will help them do that. Also, it can cost with a home falling out of escrow. So not only do you lose time, but now that property could be tainted in the marketplace. If it's a little bit longer on the property, people start asking, hey, is there something wrong with this property that I need to know about? And they start having a negative view of the property instead of what they should be. And sometimes that could have been avoided with an experienced agent of having a property fall out of escrow. You want to ask yourself, is the seller protected when it's late in the transaction? Some inexperienced agents aren't on top of that. So are they disclosing all that should be? Are they getting sloppy on the time frames and not protecting that seller? So you don't have to talk about just price. You could be talked about, because with litigation today, sellers will get sued, and so will the brokers. And so you got to be aware of that. The other negotiation that happens in a real estate transaction is under the repairs. So because it's a hot seller's market, with an experienced agent, a lot of times they can get that negotiated for a lot less. If anything needs to be fixed, it can be done, for far less than what an inexperienced agent can negotiate. Did the agent oversell their position, or did they do enough? Is the agent skilled enough with communication to keep a tough deal? Like Crystal mentioned, sometimes things come up in transactions, both on the buyer side and the seller side. And does that agent have the skill set to be able to properly communicate and work things out and navigate to get to the closing? Because if you fall out of escrow, you have additional expenses that you weren't counting on, not just time. So anyone can sell a home in a hot seller's market, but make sure you hire an experienced realtor, because inexperience can really cost you more than you bargained for. So refer all your friends and family to Mike Raines, recipient of the RE/MAX Platinum Club, the Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm the graduate of the Realtor Institute, and I've been selling homes since 2002.